want to start by saying why I feel I'm in a unique position to talk on political matters. And I feel I represent a position that is not out there because I represent, or my position is obviously derived by morals from the Bible and common sense. And that position might exist, but I don't feel there's anyone really who is consistent in that position. So I am not always on one or the other side. I will just go by issue, and I think issue by issue and realize for myself why is that the better aim and angle or the other side. And I try to be rational and realistic and see the world for what it is and not what my dream world might be or my optimum human that I just think everyone is. But why do I have a good perspective is the question. And the question is easily answered because I'm living in the United States. I'm an immigrant. I've been here for like almost 6.5 years. Yeah, 6.5 years, a little longer. Yeah. And I come from Europe. So I've lived in Europe too. I've seen another system in terms of we have multiple parties and universal health care. We also have a lot of immigration, and it's gotten way, way more, as you might have seen and also realized in my last episode. I have been also on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to the economy. I've been employed, I've been a contractor, I've been an entrepreneur myself and paid people to do work for me. So I can see the world from the businessman perspective and from the employer's perspective. And I know what benefits employers have over businessmen and over entrepreneurs that risk everything, that build everything up. There is no employee without an entrepreneur. There is none, unless we have socialism and the employee is the state. But we know how that works because the state will forever employ you. And if you work more or less efficient, you're not going to get fired. And that's why people don't work as efficient as they can. And that's why government funded institutions or programs, most of the times, almost every time, are way less efficient than if you would contract a business to do the same thing. Because the business competes and it will have to survive. And the government could be like, which business wants to do it? Okay, make me some offers. And it's going to be maybe still a good offer, but they can also choose the cheapest that provides the best value for the price. And they want to deliver, so it's going to be more effective because if they don't deliver, they're not going to get rehired for the next government contract. So, but as we're corrupt, those government contracts are also handed out amongst friends who fund each other, whatever. Back to me. So I've been on the side of an employed person and on the side of an employer, so to say. That's why I see it from both sides. I've studied at university myself. I studied philosophy and politics and first elementary school teacher in Germany. So I've also been to college. It's university in Germany and it's state funded, half of it to a degree because you can get some government money assistance and you have to pay half of it back just to finance yourself. But as that's not enough, I also had to work on the side. So it was kind of like having two jobs, not having much free time. So I know how it is to work for a minimum wage as well. I worked for, I think €6.50 was the lowest. €6.50. That was in 2012, 13-ish. So I've worked for that little money. I've worked for way more money. I've paid people to work for $150 an hour. So I know from both sides, and I know from both continents, and I can really see which system works better in which way, in my opinion, obviously. But my opinion is never just by feelings. My opinion, I try to be a very rational person and see things for what they are and see the positives and the negatives. So there are certain things where, even though I'm rather conservative, obviously, as I'm Christian, and that is where I derive my morals from, I still can see aspects that are more left, or arguments that I would agree with. And certain things like healthcare, I think for when it comes to survival and health, making money of people's health is very unchristian. If you help, you want to do the best you can to at the lowest rate you can, and that will be great if that would be, for example, obviously it has to be great organized, but government funded. That's my opinion, because I don't want to play with people's lives and have people like you've seen people die because they've been denied funds, or they get lesser treatments, or they're bankrupt for life. So that's on that. But so I just think I can really share from a biblical lens and really interpret in a way where how things apply in our society. And I'm going to give also a lot of times Bible verses as my foundation for what I say, but also you always have to see the context of the Bible verse, so it's always important to see, because you could pick something out of context and it would sound terrible sometimes. That's what the enemies of the Lord love to do. So, and I'm a big believer still in the American dream. I think this land, this country, gives huge opportunities other countries cannot provide. And I can say that because I came here from Europe, from a good country. It's getting way worse, Germany. But when I was there, it was still okay. And I just am so grateful to be here. I love this country. And obviously, I don't love everything about it. But who would, You might, there might be things about your wife you don't like sometimes. And I think it's important to have a high standard for our country, because we want to be the best. We used to be the best always, so we want to keep being the best. So you can't complain, but always constructively if things are going wrong. But hating this country really comes out of an entitled perspective that has no big perspective. So I love the ideas of this country. Merit, hard work pays off. I've seen it in my whole life. I've been a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder, in a classic physique division, it's called. And I've seen how I can, with hard work, reach my goals. And it took me way longer than others because I do not have the ability to build muscle as fast as others. I'm not as gifted, but with hard work and true dedication, over and over and over, and consistency, you can get there. It's the same with the YouTube channel. You start out getting 60 views, you're like, oh my God, and you right away you stop. Or you keep being persistent and you keep doing what you're doing, keep believing in it, keep believing in your abilities that are God-given, and keep going. I've also been at a professional level as a road cyclist, where I've been to, for example, the Republic of Congo, one of the poorest countries in the entire world. I've seen people having very little materialistically, being very happy. And that is also a thing that is very important to realize. Your set point determines, like your maintenance level is just to what you're used to. you don't even see how much better you have it when you don't see it. It's your maintenance. And most of the people compare upwards and then complain. They never look downwards. They never look how good we have it here, all of us. Yeah, the poorest people are fat as hell in this country, some of them, no offense, but if you can get that fat, you might have enough money to feed yourself. When I look at people's carts and when I go grocery shopping, and I still go grocery shopping at Costco and grocery outlet to really pay, like I don't want to overpay. And I see people buying stuff they will never need that just make them fat. Some stupid candy, some muffins, some brand names where they could pay half for the non-brand name, which is just the same quality. Tons of these things where you can save a lot of money at the end of the month. And instead of throwing it out the window, you could, invest it. And also with like going out to eat, I almost never ever go out eat, and people spend hundreds of dollars and I'm so poor. Did people go out eat that much in the 1940s or whatever? Nowadays it's like super normal. My parents and we went out to eat maybe once in a month, and it was the cheapest pizza place in my hometown, and it was like back then $4 or $5 for a pizza. So the whole family, like 3 people but we ate for like and drank for like $25-$30. So perspective and the ethical background is what I can bring. And I think the consistency to which I apply my morals and standards are, way different than most people. I see very few that are consistent with that. And I think that is very important in this day and age. So that's why I'm here. I've also failed a lot of times, and I had to start over and had to reinvent myself, had to set new goals for myself, which is not an easy thing to do. But I know that what I have in my mind, in my head, is what really makes me valuable, and I can do things over and over again. Obviously, it's not easy, but it teaches you a lot of persistence and patience and being able to surrender to what you cannot control, which is very important, that you will just keep your faith, and by always finding a way to get things done. I could also increase my faith a lot, because it made me realize that the things I can't control, and I can just surrender, because I know at the end, if I do what I can, it will happen, and I can make it happen. So it is tough lessons, but very, very helpful at the end of the day. So everything you go through makes you, and it makes you wiser and gives you perspective.